Hearing that Mrs. Selkirk was concerned with the well-being of her adult children was quite a shock. "I haven't been able to find Teresa all morning." Mrs. Selkirk's fingers continued to tremble as she reached for one of the shortbread biscuits that sat on the small silver platter. She took a dainty nibble and chewed thoughtfully before continuing. "I know that Teresa, like yourself, is a grown woman, but I cannot help but worry over her." It was evident that a thrill of terror coursed through Mrs. Selkirk's body at just that moment, because her entire frame shivered. Kitty put down her teacup then and swept around the table so that she could sit on the seat next to her friend. She draped an arm around Mrs. Selkirk's rounded shoulders and gave her a gentle squeeze. "Why must you worry? You know how much Teresa relishes taking long walks. Is it not part of a habit to disappear for stretches of time?" Because Kitty held Mrs. Selkirk so close, she could feel it when another terrified tremor coursed through her form. "If this were just another day, I might not be bothered by Teresa's absence, but Andrew arrived last night, and I was so hoping that both my children might join us for tea." "Mr. Selkirk is here?" Kitty cast a quick glance over top her companion's head. Mrs. Selkirk was prodigiously proud of her eldest child, Andrew, and spoke of him often, but Kitty had yet to meet him. She knew that he was a member of the Bow Street Horse Patrol and had been recently injured whilst routing a pair of thieves. Tales of his feats never ceased to amaze Kitty, and she usually looked forward to hearing Mrs. Selkirk boast a little of his triumphs. But now that she knew Mr. Selkirk was here, she could not help but crane her neck and hope to catch a glimpse of him in person. Years earlier, when she had still been Kitty Bennet and lived near Meryton with her parents and sisters, she had nurtured tender feelings for officers in the regiment and much admired their blazing red coats. She had never seen a member of the Bow Street Horse Patrol herself, but had heard tell of their handsome uniforms. Her curiosity was piqued as she longed to catch a glimpse of Mr. Selkirk wearing a double-breasted navy blue greatcoat with gleaming gilt buttons and a spotless scarlet waistcoat. Her girlish fancies, which had cooled drastically over the last 3 years, were sparked anew by this prospect. "Andrew arrived last night," Mrs. Selkirk reiterated after taking a tremendously deep breath. Some of her composure returned, then, as she explained, "He was eager to reacquaint himself with some old friends in the village this afternoon, but I begged him to stay so he might meet you and Dr. Lovell." Her smile appeared when Mrs. Selkirk mentioned Kitty's husband. "You know how much I enjoy our little chats, Mrs. Lovell, and your husband. I esteem him greatly, so I wished for Andrew to be introduced to him at once, but—" The blustery winds kicked up hard just then, creating an odd, jarring sound as the window panes rattled. "But before?" Kitty prompted, trying to urge Mrs. Selkirk to return to her earlier point. "You said that your children were missing. Does that mean Mr. Selkirk ventured out to find his old friends rather than stay put so he might meet me and my husband?" "Andrew was here," Mrs. Selkirk replied in a slightly absent-minded tone. Her attention was obviously divided. She kept up the conversation with Kitty, but also trained one eye on the nearest set of windows. "After he and I broke our fast together, we pondered what might be detaining Teresa, and he volunteered to ride down by the water in search of her." "He rode?" Kitty's brow scrunched in confusion. "But did you not tell me he was injured? Should he have attempted such a feat in his condition?" "That is precisely what I said, my dear." Mrs. Selkirk gave up looking at the window for a moment and fixed Kitty with an approving expression. But, while her kind brown eyes sparkled with motherly affection, her smile remained tight-lipped. "At my request, Andrew left his horse in the stall and instead set out on foot to find Teresa. Oh," she groaned, "it pains me to think of Andrew and Teresa being stuck outside in this gale." Kitty frowned. "It is but a bit windy, ma'am. I know how that frightens you, but I sincerely believe all will be well. She did not need to utter any further words of consolation or comfort, for at that very moment the sound of a door banging open jolted them both.